and a small antique dining set. Bouquets of fresh flowers were positioned around the room, emitting a light floral scent that matched the feminine tone of the room. Though finding Mason's mother locked in the attic could have given this entire experience a Jane Eyre vibe, the setting couldn't have been more different from Thornfield Hall. But that didn't make me any less curious about why Mason was hiding his mother up here, or why he'd waited until now to tell me about her. "What do you most want to know?" He seriously wanted me to choose? I shifted on the love seat to face him. His expression was somber, but there was nothing defensive about his tone or posture. This was the moment he was fully opening up to me, and that realization made my annoyance fade faster than a cheap black cotton t-shirt. Trust had to be earned, and it seemed that I'd managed to earn Mason's. Now I needed to prove I was worthy of it. "Why did you tell me that your parents were gone?" Technically, he'd made the comment in passing, and in front of Stowe at that, but I'd still caught it and tucked it away for a rainy day. "My biological parents are dead." His mouth twitched, though it didn't lift into its usual grin. "They ditched me when I was 3 and left me on Elizabeth's doorstep with a rather stereotypical note stating they knew she'd be able to care for me better than they could. I haven't heard from them since." My chest squeezed at the thought of Mason as an innocent 3-year-old being rejected by his parents. No matter the circumstances, I'd never understand how parents could desert their child like that. It was unthinkable. I reached for his hand, and though mine was covered in a white glove, I hoped the act would offer some degree of comfort. "I'm so sorry." "I don't really remember them. And there was more to it, if I'm honest. I'd already started using my abilities, and apparently my parents didn't know how to keep me hidden. They thought that Elizabeth, with all of her wealth and resources, would be the best person to help me. And, lucky for me, she'd never married but always wanted a child." "She adopted you?" He nodded. "I'm glad you had her." "Me too. She was a wonderful mother. Until..." I squeezed his hand in silent encouragement. "What happened? Why can't she speak?" "The short answer is I don't know." Mason peered off into the distance, but unlike Elizabeth's, his face held more emotions than I could decipher. "About 16 years ago, she started acting strange. She began forgetting things, little things at first, like forgetting to pick me up from school or to go to the grocery store. I didn't think much of it at the time. I was a relatively typical 11-year-old and too concerned with my life to pay attention to my mother. But it steadily got worse until, one day, I came home from school. I'd had to call a cab when she didn't answer her cell phone, and she was sitting in a chair in the living room, just staring." He removed his hand from mine and leaned forward, bowing his head. "She was gone. And she's never come back." My eyes burned as I tried to hold back the tears. Though Mason and I had lost our mothers at around the same age, I still struggled to imagine what that must have been like for him. Not only what happened 16 years ago, but every day since. It was a different kind of loss, visiting a loved one day in and day out, but never being seen, never being heard. My heart splintered at the unfairness of it all. Mason's biological parents had deposited him in the care of a woman who had been more than willing to step up, but she'd abandoned him anyway. It didn't matter that she hadn't gone willingly, not really. Not when the result was the same. He was left all alone. Peering at his downcast profile, I felt like I was seeing the man for the first time. I'd always understood there was more to Mason Montgomery than the Gatsby-esque persona he projected to the world, but as much as I'd tried to shove the pieces together, they hadn't quite fit. The wealthy playboy facade, his willingness to help me with intuition, the cocky attitude, his sweet declaration of interest.